It's the early way, yeah. It's the early way, yeah, yeah. It's the early way, yeah. It's the early way, yeah, yeah. What's up? I'm Early Earl. I thank y'all for hearing these YouTube streets and coming on down here to the early way. I'm coming at y'all with a bad versus wild review, and this is for episode 5, Baddies versus BGC. Tune in with me. So we open the show with French Montana performing his song No Stylist. And y'all remember No Stylist. Iced out, No Stylist, New Chanel, Saint Laurent, Gucci bag, lifestyle. No Stylist, Louboutin, Jimmy shoes, that's on you, yeah, yeah. Diamonds on my neck, frozen tears. Hopping out the jet, Lears. So, after he done performing his song, Nick comes out and he brings out the bad side. And on the bad side, we got Captain Natalie Nunn. And on her team, we got Rollie, Scotty, Taseki, Saya, Mariah Lynn, and Sydney Starr. Then he brings out the wild side. And on the wild side, we got Captain Megan. And on her team, we got Kat, Jayla, Janelle, Lo London, Seven, and Bree. All the girls are from Bad Girls Club. And I was kind of excited to see all the girls from the Bad Girls Club. I like seeing, the Bad Girls Club pop up on my TV screen every now and then. I fucks with Megan, Kat, Jayla, Janelle, Lo London, Seven, and Bree. It's like a little bit nostalgia when they come on the screen from Bad Girls Club. So we get the game started. Round 1 is Bad Bingo. And it's just like regular bingo, but with a little ratchet shit, as Nick said. He says it's just like regular bingo with a little ratchet shit to it. He brought Courtney, up there to assist him, and she gonna be the one that pull random items out of a jar, and whoever it pertains to, the bad and the wild side, they gotta get up and grab a Velcro ball and stick it to the board until they get, 5 in a row and get bingo. So, we start the game out. Courtney, she grabbed, a slip out the jar, and it says, let a man come in you, and you took plan B. When I say them hoes, all them hoes hopped up and ran to the balls to try to grab one and place it on the board. All them hoes done let a nigga come at them and took a plan B right after. But the wild side, they got their ball on the board, so, they got that. So the next question was, had sex in your parents' bed? They hopped up and ran and grabbed the ball, and the wild side, they got the ball on the board. Next up was, dated someone in the studio. So they asked the question, did they date someone in the studio they in now? So when I said they hopped up and went to place... They got up and went to place the ball on the board, and the wild side got that too. And it was like, well, Megan had stuck the ball on the board, and it was like, well, which one? Who you dated out there in the audience? So she pointed out somebody in the audience that they dated, that she dated, and I can tell if she was telling the truth or not. At this point, I'm thinking, oh, they ass lying. They just trying to win the game. So Courtney B, she went in the jar again and pulled out, had their man taken from them. So whoever had their man taken from them need to get up and grab a ball and place it on the board. They hopped up. The wild side, got their ball on the board. The next one was a hoe in your past life. They hopped up. All of them hopped up at this. All of them hopped up to see to place the ball on the board, but the bad side, got the ball on the board on their side. So the next up was squirted on someone. The wild side got that. The next one was tasted truffle butter. The wild side got that. And Janelle screamed over to Sydney talking about, Sydney, you missed your chance. Because they're pretty sure out of everybody on that stage, Sydney is the one who tasted truffle butter. And I agree with Janelle. Sydney, you missed your chance to run up there. You doing all this messy shit on stage, causing all the attention on you. You could have just got up and placed the ball on the board. That would have garnered attention. Just like that. Next was whoever masturbated in the past 48 hours. Natalie got her ass up and ran. and put the ball on the board. So the bad side got that one. I'm like, I knew Natalie was gonna get up because she was fucking off on Curtis. So she ain't got nobody to fuck off with while she ain't got her husband with her. She gon' masturbate. Stupid. The next one was whoever had a threesome, the bad side got the ball on the board. And the next one was if you are wearing your real hair, and everybody know Jayla, she was wearing her red hair. Saya ran her red hair too, but she was slow to get up there. So, the wild side got the point. Next one was more than one baby daddy. And this one, I was like, don't none of them got more than one baby daddy. So this one, I figured out they were just getting up there and just placing balls on the board, whether it pertained to them or not. They were just placing balls on the board because Kat got her ass up and placed the ball on the board for the wild side of more than one baby daddy. And I'm like, Kat, you don't even got no kids. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think you got kids. Hmm. The next one was who watched porn more than twice a week. The wild side got that one, and that was the last question. And the wild side got 5 in a row, so they hit bingo. And I liked that game. That game was, one of the better games that I have seen in the last 5 episodes. So I give them a thumbs up for that one. You know, so we switch over to round 2, which is name that trick. And it's like they're gonna give them a name of a celebrity or whatever, and they gotta do their best impersonation of it. It's kind of like charades. They call it ghetto charades. And so the first two to get called up to play the game is Bree and Rollie. And when they get called up, I'm like, I know they got beef. Cause I be tuned into the blogs or whatever, and I know they had beef. So I'm like, they gonna get up on this bitch and start fighting. And that they did. Bree ran up on Rollie and they got to fighting. I mean, they was throwing bows or whatever, and she tried to pull Rollie hair, but that wig came right off and Bree ass hit the floor. So she hit the floor on her own that time, and security came and they broke it up. So they get separated, and then after a little minute they go at it again. They both were swinging at each other, boom, 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 blows, bop, bop, bop. This time, Rollie grabbed Bree by the braids and swung her to the ground and hit her on top of the head a couple times before security came to break it up. And I'm like, ooh. If Bree wouldn't have got on that ground, it would have looked like it was a tie. But since Bree hit that flow, I'm gonna give that round to Rollie. But it was a good little squabble, but Rollie took the W on that one. After they get broken up, Rollie talking about we could have been did this because we both stay in Vegas. We could have been had this shit settled. You up here embarrassing yourself. She said that to Bree. And Bree was like, who embarrassed? Bitch, you big as fuck. And I'm like, Bree, she is big as fuck. And I give you your props for running up on that big bitch like that. You did your little thing. So, after a while, Rollie threw her set up and they go at it again. And I'm saying they really swinging on each other. Bree swinging on Rollie and Rollie trying to grab Bree by the head. While she grabbing Bree, Bree still swinging. Bop, 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 bop. And Rollie eventually grabbed Bree by the head and swung her to the ground. Security quickly came and broke it up. And while security came and broke that fight up, you see Sydney Star run over there and hit Rollie in the back of the head and ran back over to the couch and sat down. I was like, Sydney, I don't even know how you did that. But before the show started, they was backstage, and Sydney reminded us that Rollie threw a drink at her on Betty South. So I guess this was like her get back. So she popped Rollie and ran over to the couch. And I'm like, Sydney played too much. Pure foolery. So, once she ran back over and sat in the couch, Rollie went right up on her ass and swung on her ass. And, security broke it up. They ended up removing Bree and Sydney off the stage, and then they got right back into the game of Name That Trick. So, Nick called up Kat and Taseki, to come up and do their best impression of Cardi B. Oh, and I'm like, they get up there, and I'm looking at the screen like, y'all could have did better. And neither one of them did a good Cardi B impression. Neither. But, they gave it to the bad side. Taseki, got the point for them. And I thought, shit, none of them got the point. So next, Nick Cannon, he calls up Saya and Seven, and they got to get their best, version of Megan James, which is, Seven's captain. So, they did that, and Saya was like, yeah, I'm messy, so what? Yeah, I'm messy, so what? And I'm like, huh? I wouldn't have thought that was Megan with her doing that. Megan would never come to mind with her saying, I'm messy, so what? I'm messy, so what? Now, Seven, she got up there and said, anybody want to fight? Pertaining to when on Bad Girls Club Season 9, Mexico, when Erica, Christina, and Megan, they came back to the house and surprised the girls, and Megan was like, anybody want to fight? Huh. I'm like, okay. Seven got the point for them, so, Next up was Mariah Lynn and Lone London was to give their best impression of Ice Spice. And I'm like, next! 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 Either way, Mariah Lynn did her best impression of, Ice Spice, and they got the point. Next up was Scotty and Jayla get their best version of Natalie Nunn. And Jayla get up there and talk about, we get into the bag, we get into the bag. we get into the bag. And Scotty, she hit her hookah pen and just blew out smoke and was like, make her money as, I guess that was her best Natalie impersonation. But they gave that to Scotty, and I'm like, Jayla did the best impersonation of Natalie, not Scotty. But I guess. And when Jayla did that, I'm like, Jayla should have been the captain of the Wild Side for the Bad Girls Club. She should have been the captain. I bet she would have kept that shit lit. Cause Megan kept a straight face. I guess her bitch resting face the whole time. I'm like, well, smile, Megan, do something. Be playful. She just kept a mug on her face the whole time. So last up was Megan and Natalie, and they have to get a best impersonation of Oprah Winfrey. And Natalie's like, you get a car, you get a car, you get a car, you get a car. Megan came right behind and was like, you get a baby, you get a baby, you get a baby, you get a baby. And it was like, that's like a impersonation of me, Megan. I feel like you was talking about me and not Oprah. And I'm like, she was. The shade of it all. She was. You just throwing out babies, Nick. But, Bad Side won that game. That was an okay game, too. I wish they, put a little umph in it and really, gave their best impersonations. Then we get into round 3, and they named this round Grope the Rope. And it's their version of tug of war. And of course, with Rollie as the anchor on the bad side, y'all already know who took the W. The bad side won. They played tug of war like 2-3 times, and each time the bad side drugged the wild side across the stage. And that was a given. Of course, they went for the pull Rollie. Her ass ain't moving nowhere. That bit BIT wasn't moving an inch. So after that, they get into the bonus round, which is, stand on business. This round is where they talk shit, roast, they roast each other. So they get into it. And once it started, I'm like, no, ain't nobody roasting each other. This ain't what I want to see. I want to see y'all talk shit, shade each other, do something. Y'all ain't even doing that. The only person who did attempt, Janelle, she did attempt something, but Seven, she had the only good one. She was like, the baddies, y'all cute or whatever, but if it wasn't for Bad Girls Club, it wouldn't be no baddies. The baddest one is this. And I'm like, that's true. If it wasn't for Bad Girls Club, there would be no Natalie. And without no Natalie, it wouldn't be no baddies. So, off that, they should have won the whole round. But they didn't. And, the baddies, they won the title of the baddest and the wildest. So the bad side won. They took the W. The wild side, Bad Girls Club, they took the L. And I'm thinking, I don't know if I'm being biased or whatever, but I think the wild side won. And they only gave it to the baddest because they on the network. That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, I don't know. I might be biased and they might be biased too. So we don't know. So, but anyways, they got the belt. So, we had backstage. And backstage, Rollie and Sydney, they exchanging words back and forth. And then they get to fighting. And, Sydney can't really fight. So Rollie wasn't really, giving her all into the fight. She was just really playing with Sydney, but they could have cut that shit out. Sydney is an embarrassment. If anybody, not Bree, Sydney. She should have said that's Sydney, not Bree. But we end the show with French Montana. He came back on stage and he performed, and that was that. And I think this episode was a good episode. It's better than last episode, that's for sure. So I'm gonna give it 2 thumbs up. And that was it for that. I do thank y'all for tuning in, and until next time.